late today. Late OP. They keep telling me late OP all the time. See, everyone's not come only. Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. Didn't get invite, dude. It's yeah, but anyway, I start in 5 minutes, so we will wait. No, Nikhil, I was 1 minute late today, not two. I should keep changing it like this, no, to keep people on their toes. Suddenly, one day I'll come on time and to start the session, and they'll all be like, "Shit, you said 5 minutes later." Banks are on fire. Oh, be careful, bro. Why? What happened to banks suddenly? Hmm. Saw your carousals of Bitcoin. Thank you. CDSL OP. I come to know by you guys which stock has gone up. Literally, there are 24 stocks. I can't sit and bloody see what's going up. Everything. Oh wow, beautiful. 15% up. Okay. Okay. Thank you, CDSL. So CDSL is a part of my core portfolio. What happened today? Let's see. Hmm. Okay. Not bad. Rest everything is not moving too much. I think RACL GearTech went up today and then came down a little bit. It's also up. I think Explio also went up in the morning. What happened after that? Yeah, Explio is up by 4.5%. Explio has actually reached 1,100. What the hell? Like, are you kidding me? It's reached 1,100 Explio. Tanla also, yeah. Tanla is up. HDFC has given a buy to Happiest Minds also. Nice. Good day. It's okay. Relaxing. Oh, my Saregama fell down by 5%. What happened? ज़्यादा सुर में आ गया. Shit. Okay. We'll just wait for people to join and then we shall begin. NGL is always going up 5%, man. That's the weird thing that I've noticed. Boring day today, yeah, I know. 70% returns in Explio. Rahul Swara says thank you. So lucky, bro. Where's my commission, guys? Give me my commission. CDSL ke liye FOMO. I mean, come on, guys. CDSL obviously will have FOMO, no? Tell me why CDSL won't have FOMO. But NHDL will do better. CDSL opens 4 crore accounts. My god, 4 crore accounts. CDSL opens 4 crore demat accounts. 3 days back ka news hai. See, one thing you should understand, there are some businesses that are monopoly businesses in India. NHDL monopoly business, CDSL monopoly business, correct? So these things, whatever happens, it's gonna be there, dude. It's not like it's gonna disappear tomorrow or something like that. So these are monopoly businesses with, by the way, it's monopoly businesses with good fundamentals, not bad fundamentals. They are actually good fundamentals. So why not? See, CDSL is in my main portfolio. Why? Because I want to keep it for a long period of time. And if NSDL comes, I'll buy NSDL also. Correct. Correct. And what happened to my IRCTC? Real near 2,000 rupees it reached off. Oh, beautiful. IRCTC has hit an all-time high then. Beautiful. Okay, so IRCTC is making new strides. 36,000 crore market cap for IRCTC seems so low. So low. Like it's the country's only monopolistic IRCTC player and it's so low. Yeah, it's quite low. It's quite low. And their profit was growing every year except for the last 1 year. The profit was growing every year. Net profit was growing even better. Crazy, right? Okay, I think we can begin today. Not much, nothing exciting today, guys, but I will do the session anyway. By the way, I think yesterday me and Devjani finally connected, and we already have one stock research ready for this weekend, which I will be shooting this weekend. Um, yeah, so we will be shooting this weekend. I think the company is Subex because a lot of people want to understand what is Subex, why is it so good, why are we looking at Subex. So I think that is the first company that we will be doing research. And I kid you not, one second, let me show you. And I'll do one thing. I'll be sharing these documents also with you guys, right? So it's once the research is done and once the video is done, I'll even share the PDF with you. PDF, Word document, whatever. I'm trying to make it look good. Uh, but I think it's like a 4 or 5 page document that Devjani has given me. So I will be doing this beautiful, amazing, long, nice video in the end. Super 20 OP. Use Canva for PPT. No. I have this subscription in Envato Elements. I'll just download one template and then copy paste it there. So it should look good. Smart people don't do too much work, my friends. Okay. Disclaimer. Yeah. Okay. So let me start with the news because there's nothing great happening today, to be honest. Serum Institute started production of Sputnik 5 COVID vaccine soon. Gee, Serum Institute also got the permission to sell this award. I thought only Dr. Reddy's had this, dude. Serum Institute literally does everything, to be honest, right now. Cyrus, who's this? Poonawala again, no? Dude, do you have any idea how much money Poonawala is minting? How much insane amount of money Poonawala is minting? Already he's Daniel Pereira is asking, where do you read this news from? Hmm. No mood today to do time pass. Yeah, but again, Serum Institute is already doing so much, right? Serum Institute is already producing so many different vaccines. Now suddenly they're producing this also. I don't know how they have so much capacity to produce a normal vaccination vaccines and they're producing Russian vaccines. Kal kuch aur aayega wo bhi. It's like whatever is in trending mode, right? I think they start selling that as well. Apparently they're producing 300 million doses of the Russian Sputnik 5 vaccine. Do you guys have any idea what is the cost of Russian Sputnik vaccine? Vaccine cost in India. Okay, Sputnik 5 is expected to be around 948 per dose with 5% GST. It would be 900. This means two shots would cost you 2000 per person. So 1000 per shot. I mean 1000 per dose approximately. Yeah, around 1,200 rupees per dose for Sputnik 5. So all the people who take Sputnik vaccine, first thing that will happen is Russia will open the doors for you and say any tourism for anyone who wants to come to Russia, who if you have Sputnik vaccine, you get 5% discount in flight tickets. All that new schemes will start. You watch, because everyone wants to promote tourism, right? Tourism se bahut paisa aata, and Indians obviously spend a lot of money when it comes to tourism. I took I took 2,700 rupees for two doses of Covaxin. Sai Aparna. Why, dude? Why Sai? Why would you pay so much? Actually, yeah, even I paid 2,500 only for two vaccines. 1,250 each. Yeah, interesting. Sad. So they should actually give tax rebate for all the expenses you have done for COVID test and vaccines. Because I'll tell you why. When I was traveling, right during COVID time, I traveled to Bombay. Each test was supposed to be, at that point, a lot of these private diagnostic centers were charging a bomb for home test, right, to come home and check the thing. According to the government, the entire test should not be around, not more than 800 or 1,000 rupees. There was one diagnostic center in Bangalore that was doing this to come home and actually sell it, do the test, COVID test in peak COVID time around March, April, May, June. I had to pay around 3,000, 3,500 rupees, right? This was in March, April, May, June of 2020. So 3,000 rupees going to Bombay. After going to Bombay, 3,000 rupees to come back again to do the test. And I've done that at least 4 times, and then I have to do it for my wife also after that. Just imagine, I've spent minimum 20 grand this year only on vaccination and COVID tests and nonsense like that, right? So sad. 25% of the cost for my flight round. See, that's the thing. No, Trishal, I don't pay for flight tickets. I get everything for free. So I actually don't end up paying. Now, though, I've racked up so many points, literally too many points I have now. So I have, I have around what, 50,000 points on Air India, and each ticket is 8,000 rupees for normal, and business class is 16,000. So I can literally travel some six flights for free, right? Because the whole lockdown, you're sitting at home not doing anything. Now I do Intermiles and I do Air India because Air India gives so much. But abhi to Air India is going only. It's like they're going to become bankrupt very soon. So I don't know what's going to happen to Air India after that. But yeah, Serum Institute doing a great job for humanity and minting money at the same time. This is how you should be, right, in life, where मैं दूसरों का मदद भी कर रहा हूँ और अच्छा खासा पैसा भी कमा रहा हूँ. That's how life should be. Correct? Awesome. Now, IRCTC shares find favor with analysts despite huge rally. Anand Rathi sees up to 26% upside. Apparently, a lot of brokerage houses are saying that IRCTC will do much better. Interesting. IRCTC will do much better going forward after COVID. Hmm. By the way, do you guys know that in India, Audi is coming out with their e-tron range? E-tron. Okay, you might have seen this in Iron Man once. You would have seen E-tron over there. I think this was Iron Man 3 in the end when he throws everything, sits in his car at the last final scene of Iron Man 3, right? He throws that thing, sits in his Audi R8, and there's e-tron written on it. So this was something that is there. So this is an updated article which says that Audi, it's not about e-tron. E-tron is coming, but apparently Audi India is offering different schemes for customers before the electric vehicle launch. So whoever are in current petrol diesel version, they're all trying to sell off those cars completely. So they're trying to offer some new scheme wherein customers are assured a lucrative buyback price up to 3 years from the date of purchase when they decide to upgrade or sell their Audi e-tron E55 Sportsback 55. So you can actually buy an e-tron and then sell it back to Audi and then buy another one and then buy another one and keep upgrading as much as you want. 2 to 5 years ke beech mein you can keep upgrading your e-tron basically. Cool, right? Interesting. Awesome. Then now, there's a very interesting thing that has came out. I felt like Dani said. So, renovation expense can now be added to capital gains loss, basically. Renovation expenses can be added as an expense to capital gains if the renovation has incurred prior if the house is acquired by an assessee before April 1st 2001, and any expenditure incurred on renovation incurred prior to April 1st 2001 shall be ignored. So anything after 2001, if you have a house and you have done a renovation, you can actually offset it against your capital gains, which is very interesting because if you made a lot of money in your share market and you have capital gains of 1,50,000, um, what do you say? Yeah, if you have 1 lakh in capital gains tax, you can actually renovate your house and then claim it as a benefit under the income tax rule. Cool, right? Shashank, even though you have a shit ton of money, would you put your money into a 1 crore car? Just curious. I mean, I would buy a 1 crore car if I have around 50 crores in the bank account, or at least 30 crores in the bank account. Then it won't pinch me that much. If I have 5 crores and if I buy a 1 crore car, then I'm stupid. Because one thing you guys need to understand about the cars, right? It is not the upfront cost that hits you in the ass. It is something else that screws you even more. You know what screws you even more? Not the depreciation. Depreciation is fine. That's okay. Depreciation doesn't matter. I mean, it's need use you use it and throw it. The servicing, the maintenance, leave service and maintenance. You if you buy a car that is worth 1 crore or 1.5 crores, okay, assume you buy a car for 1 crore. Insurance itself is very expensive for a car which is 1 crore. Then if you have one scratch on the car, or if something goes wrong in the gearbox or something goes wrong, anything there, right? The expense, or every 6 months when you give it for servicing, your bill is around 70K. Correct. My car itself is 70K, 80K minimum for just servicing, not even fixing issues. And then suddenly they'll be like, you know what, your tire brake pad is gone, your this is gone, your that is gone. So more than buying a 1 crore car, maintenance of that 1 crore car in a year, you would have to pay at least 10 lakhs minimum. Like, keep aside a 10 lakh budget for miscellaneous, right? Only for the car. So yeah, I wouldn't do that right now. If I wanted to buy a 1 crore car, see, first I need to get my things in order, right? Things in order, as in, first I need to make a significant corpus. Now there are two schools of thought. Okay, now let me tell you one thing. There are two schools of thought. The two schools of thought are, either you save, you be liquid in life, or you be illiquid in life. Okay, by what do I mean by be liquid in life? That I make a lot of money. Imagine I've saved up 1 crore in like 2 3 years. I'll save up 1 crore in my bank account. What would people do if they have 1 crore in the bank account, right? What would you usually do if you have 1 crore in the bank account? You've saved up the capital, 3 4 5 6 years you have done, and you have around 1 crore in the bank account. Tourism mein kya matlab? Nothing will happen, right? In tourism, you've invested and you've made this 1 crore. Most of the people would do real estate. Yes, most of the people would do real estate. So what most of the people would do is, they would take that 1 crore, maybe do buy a house worth 1.5 crores, take little EMI on it also, and again buy a real estate, buy a house where they can stay in the house, offset it with your interest, because see, what happens is EMI interest up to 2 lakhs can be tax deductible, so use that to your advantage. In the same time, get a house, and you, not rental income, there is no rental income because you're staying in that house, right? So worst case, something happens, you're still staying in the house. But 1 crore that you have suddenly becomes 30 lakhs again. Correct. House is still an asset, but again, house comes with expenses. If you have your own house, it still comes with expenses, right? But you still have a house which will capital appreciate. Now the house capital appreciation of real estate will take time. Okay, maybe in 10 years it will double or triple, right? In 10 years it might go up to 2.5 times. But imagine that 1 crore, how much will it go up in 10 years? Correct. So there are two schools of thought saying, but you still have to pay rent every month, you have to pay rent. So what people are usually saying right now is, look, if you have 1 crore in your bank account, and you're paying say 50,000 in rent, what people will be like, you know what, I might as well go buy one house so that I don't have to pay 50,000 in rent, and I save this money, 50,000 rupees I save per month, where I don't have to pay. But your return on income, right? If you have spent 1 crore and you divide it by 50,000, what is your return on income on that? I mean, how many months do you have to stay in the house and pay 50,000 rupees, for you to offset that, what your logic says, that I'm going to buy a house so that I don't have to pay rent? So if you have a 1 crore house, let me do this, right? Let me open a calculator. 1 crore house to abhi milta nahi hai, but I'll just tell you what a 1 crore house is. Divided by, assume the rent is 50,000, okay? You have to stay there for 200 months, right? Yeah, you have to stay there for approximately 200 months to break even, correct? 200 months is how much? Around 16 years only. You have to stay in that house for 16 years only, 16.6 years only, to break even. Now, if you had not bought that house, okay, and if you had taken that 16 years and just invested it somewhere, that 1 crore you would have kept investing, and you still paid 50,000 rent, okay, you still keep paying 50,000 rent. If that 1 crore in 16 years, after compounding and after growing at a good rate of return, that 1 crore would end up being maybe 7 crores, or much, much more, maybe 5 crores or 7 crores or 10 crores, right? And the dividends that you get on that 10 crore portfolio, the dividends that you get will be enough to pay out 50,000 house. In fact, the dividends will be so much when you have 10 crores that you can actually go rent a penthouse for 1 lakh rupees also per month, and only dividends will end up paying your 1 lakh, right? So there are two schools of thought. So why is it really important for you to buy a house? Is it really important for you to go live there? Why do people buy a house? For this mental security and mental stability. That's what people say, right? You have to buy a house so that you'll have mental stability and mental security. Correct? Not, it's not even status, I would say, because see, if it is all about status, then I can just go stay in a penthouse instead of buying a house. No, how does it matter? So it's not about status, it is more about, a lot of people are saying, okay, you know what, एक घर होना चाहिए, at least, you know, worst case scenario, at least you have a roof to stay under. That's what people say. No, I did. Ayush is saying you didn't consider house will appreciate in price as well. The thing is, Ayush, house will definitely appreciate the in whatever in retrospect house will appreciate, but the rate of return that real estate will give in 15 years versus the rate of return the stock market would give in 15 years, there's a massive difference. At the end of the day, you have to percentage matters, as I said, right? If real estate grows at 9% CAGR and stock market grows at 15% CAGR, what would you want? House is illiquid. House doesn't give you dividends. House will give you pure appreciation. Chalo, it'll become three times and four times it'll become and done. House will not give you dividend. But why will you pay rent? If you buy a house, you have to stay in the house, no? That's the whole purpose of buying a house. One, that I don't want to pay rent, right? So you won't get rental income from the house that you buy. And second, you'll be like, you know, worst case, at least I have a house for myself. So there are two schools of thought. Ideally, when you should buy a house, if you really want to buy a house and you want to decorate it the way you want to, because every time you're buying, see why Peter Lynch says buy a house. I know that's very old school thought, right? I don't believe in first buy a house and then buy stocks. I would always say buy stocks and then buy house later. Um, because in 1990s the stock market was not attractive for anyone, right? In 1990s the stock market was the most riskiest thing to invest in 1990s real estate was the most safest instrument. So anyone who had money were only investing in gold and real estate in 1990s, and LIC policies. My god, LIC was killing it in 1990s. The stock market was, and imagine you try to invest in stock market, you have to go to the BSE trading floor and try to invest. Or then suddenly Harshad Mehta comes and says, boss, what's up, 500 crore scam, peace out. Then Ketan Parekh came and said, another scam, peace out. So if you think about all this, right, where the stock market scam is happening, it's not company scam, it's a stock market scam happening. Obviously, everyone will be like, stock market's so risky. Suddenly, suddenly, what do you call that? 2000 में .com bubble came, एक और crash happened. Slowly now we realize that, oh shit, stock market is more liquid because there are so many new things that are coming. And yeah, real estate scam होता है. It's not like real estate scam doesn't happen. But you know when real estate scam happens? When you don't register your property in your name. I've seen so many people do this in India, guys. They buy a house, okay, they buy a property and they don't register it because they have to pay extra money. Then suddenly tomorrow they go to register it and they suddenly see someone else has registered it in their name and forged the papers, and then that land gets tied up in scam. Sometimes even if you register a land, imagine you have registered a land and it's somewhere in your village, and you go there and see that some five people have put off their houses there and they're staying. You know how difficult it is to evacuate all of them from your land? So if you go buy a land outskirts, I don't know how many of you all have land outskirts, but then you have to definitely keep a security guard so that nobody comes and puts their house there. And if you keep a security guard, then you have to pay the security guard with his rent and his food accommodation like a caretaker, right? That is money going out for the but I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. So the two schools of thought. When would you actually buy a house? Right? I'll tell you when I would buy a house. If I have around 10 crores or 15 crores in my bank account and I've saved it and I'm the age of 45, 50 right now. Okay. If my house cost is only 10%, I'm not even picking up on EMI. I'm not even leave EMI out, right? If it's 10% of my total income and 90% of the 10% of my total savings are not income. I'm talking about savings. 10% of my total savings, if I have 10 crores, then I can buy a house of 1 crore. If I have 15 crores, then I can buy a house of 1.5 crores or build a house of 1.5 crores. If I have 20, then I can get a house of 2 crores. right? Ideally, 10 to 15% should be your limit. 10 to 15% of your savings, right? Because your savings is anyway growing. You don't want to touch that compounding. Is it like real estate a bad? No, real estate's not bad. The thing is, I'll tell you what is bad. Real estate is not bad. The problem in India is people try to buy real estate when they don't have money. So when you buying real estate on a heavy EMI is bad, because the first few years of your life, first 10 years of your earning life from 25 to 35 is when you bloody compound that money, because you started your first job at 25, until 35 you would have made, you are saving every month. Till 35 you are compounding your money, right? Imagine at the age of 30, 31 you go buy a house and then take a EMI of a massive loan. I'll tell you, okay, let's assume one. No, okay, let me do a nice quick math for you guys, because we only work with math and we love math. Now, you know that home loan currently is at the lowest, 6.75 is at the lowest right now. Or else home loan rates are approximately 8 to 9%. Huh? This is at 6.75%. Now, you guys tell me in the chat, if you had to buy a house, okay, let's not even assume Bombay. Bombay is like you can't even buy a house, it's insane. Tell me an average rate of buying a house, average house that you can buy, 1 crore, 1.5 crores, that way. For example's sake, 1 crore house, like 1 crore में घर मिल जाता है. Obviously you won't get a very fancy place, but at least you can stay in that one house. Let's assume 1 crore. Okay, 1 crore में से you know that at least 20% you have to put upfront deposit. Yes, 20% is always upfront down payment. 80% तक loan मिलेगा. So your loan amount now is 80 lakhs loan. Huh? Now at the age of 31, 32, because people have told you go get a bloody house, at the age of 32 you are entering a contract where you have firstly given 20 lakhs of your savings, and secondly I've signed an agreement to owe someone 80 lakhs over a long period of time. Nice. Very interesting. Now this is, yeah, loan is reverse compounding. Now 80 lakhs. Chalo, now you guys tell me how many months do you want to, how many years do you want to keep this? Assume you guys are 30, 31. Okay. Assume all of you all are 30, 31. You've just taken a home loan. 15, 20 years. Assume till what? Now you're 30 means 50 tak you want to pay. Okay. Some people are saying 10 years. Let me do 10 years. Let me check 10 years. Okay. In 10 years, if you want to take a 10-year loan on 80 lakhs, okay, your home loan EMI is 91,859. 91,859 is your monthly EMI. Monthly EMI. Now, you can't give me this logic saying, Shashank, but I will put that house on rent and get money. No. Why? Because you are staying in that house. Okay, assume you were paying 50,000 rent. Assume you were paying 50,000 rent from your existing income. Now you have to pay 50,000 plus 41,000 rent extra, right? So 91,000 rent you're paying now, almost 91,000 you're paying. Okay, 40,000 extra you're paying per month, which you could have saved. After paying your rent you could have saved 40 grand, but you're putting 40 grand. Now you'll be like, okay, 10 years maybe it's not possible, right? Because 91,000 so I can't give, and I'm still young, I've still not got my promotion, I'm still young, I'm still climbing up the corporate ladder. Okay, I'll be like, chalo, let's make it 15 years. On 15 years the monthly EMI is 70,000 rupees. 10 is impossible. Chalo, let's do 15. 15 also is 70,000 rupees. Okay. Now, this is not the funny part. This is not the funny part. I'll tell you the funny part. You have paid 20 lakhs upfront and you have taken a loan of 80 lakhs. Do you know what the interest is for 15 years that you are paying? 80 lakhs is the loan amount. Your interest amount is 47 lakhs. You are basically paying 50% more in interest for this leverage. For this leverage, 80 lakhs is your loan amount, 47 lakhs is your interest amount. You can, if you guys are in front of a computer, just go to home loan EMI calculator HDFC. There's one nice bar over there. 47 lakhs is interest amount, 80 lakhs is your principal amount, 20 lakhs you have paid upfront down payment. 80 plus 40 plus 20, 80 plus 47 plus 20 is approximately 1.4 crores. So now your 1 crore house has now become 1.4 crores. Cost of buying the house is 1.4 crores. Agreed? That means for someone who said that, I have the house rate will also go up, Until 40%, you're not even at break even. Assume your land rate goes up by 40% in 3 years, you are at break even. Okay. You'll be like, Shashank, 15 years also not possible because 70,000 is expensive. Let me match it to my rent amount, which is 50,000. If I'm anyway paying 50,000 rent, I might as well pay here and get this house by myself. Correct? Chalo, let me check where is 50,000. 50,000 comes up to approximately 30 years. Matlab you buy it at 30 years, by the time you're 60, you would have paid off this rent. Okay? Please don't do 30 years of EMI. I'll tell you why. Because you're paying 50,000 for the next 30 years, your principal amount is 80 lakhs, your interest amount is 1 crore. The cost of your house is your interest amount. So that's 30 years. If you do 20 years, your EMI is 60 lakhs. Okay. Your principal amount is 80 lakhs, which you have 60,000 is your EMI, 80 lakhs is your principal amount. Your interest is 65 lakhs. 65 lakhs. Now, in your life, okay, your beautiful life of earning 25 years, you start earning and you end at the age of 60. Now, 25 years when you start earning, guys, okay, till the age of 60, which you have around 35 years of good earning period, right? At this point, you are telling me that in your 35 years of journey, 65 lakhs you have paid as interest amount to a bank just to buy a house of 1 crore, out of which you have already paid 20 lakhs upfront down payment, and you have paid 80 lakhs in principal amount, and you paid extra 65 lakhs, not to mention the other expenses that will come associated with this house. Now think about it from that perspective. Now after all this, have you asked this question, why do people in India, especially our older generation, right, why do people in India, our older generation, still say that go buy a house as soon as possible, first thing you need to buy a house? And by the way, all my calculations right now that I've done is at the lowest ever interest rate, which is at 6.75. By mistake, if you take it back to 9% interest amount, okay, you are finished. You are finished. So a lot of people don't understand that when you take EMI, when you book yourself into a long-term EMI, you are, when it's an SIP, right? When you are investing every month, you are making money work for you. But when you take an EMI, you are working for that money. Understand it that way. Got it? So I'm not saying buying a house is bad, right? Definitely you should buy a house. But when do you buy a house? Do you buy a house with EMI, or do you buy a house with very less EMI? So ideally, if the time you should buy a house, I'll tell you the perfect way to buy a house, right? No, I'll tell you how to buy a house. The perfect way to buy a house, if you have a 1 crore house, okay? I'll tell you, wait. Let me give you this math also. Loan EMI calculator. Assume you want to buy a 1 crore house. Got it? This much interest paid yearly. Okay, this is little. You make it 10 years. You make 5 years. Yeah. See this. Now, guys, I'll tell you when to buy a house. Okay. Now you want to buy a house worth one crore. Correct? You want to buy a house worth of 1 crore. I agree. Now, when you want to buy, stupid HDFC is giving me notification saying, how can we help you? Do you want a loan? I don't want a loan. I'm just explaining to my people how you guys work. I don't want a loan. Okay, see this. So assume you want to buy a property for 1 crore. You put 75 crores down. Okay, you put 70. Sorry, you want to buy a house for 1 crore. Put 75 lakhs as down payment and take a loan for 25 lakhs, and only take a 5-year loan. Okay, 5-year loan for 25 lakhs. Got it? That means your down payment should be 80%, your loan amount should be approximately 20%. Reverse. Instead of putting 20% down payment and 80% loan, do ulta. Take 80% down payment and 20% loan. Now you'll be like, Shashank, why should you even take that 20% loan? I have enough money, let me just finish it off, right? and take it for a low amount of time, which is 5 years only. What happens is now your principal amount is 25 lakhs and the interest you're paying in 5 years is 4 lakhs. Okay, now that full 4 lakhs is going to be tax free. Every year you can get 2 lakhs worth of tax exemption. Year 1 you're paid 1 lakh 55,000 tax. This is over and above 80C. Huh? Over and above 80C. You got what over and above 80C means, right? Over and above the 1.5 lakhs that you save another 1.5 lakhs you can save according to 80C. Health insurance and all, you can save another 25,000. Over and above that, if you have a house and you're paying interest on it, you can save approximately 2 lakhs. So this is what it means. Understood, my friends? Got it, guys? Education loan also similar, guys. Whatever, it doesn't matter which loan, no? It doesn't matter which loan. It doesn't matter whether it's education loan, non-education loan, home loan. Basically, if you are in EMI, if you take any EMI, right, understand how percentage, I keep saying percentage matters more than anything else. You should understand how percentage works. That is what I keep saying. So if the percentage is high, then you are screwed. You're locking in. So rather make a sizable return on stocks, yes, put 80% down payment and take 20% loan only for tax. That is how a informed or educated finance person takes a bet. Now, the logic, the thing here is not about one sec. Yeah, the thing here is not about housing or whether house is good or am I teaching you how loans work. The whole purpose of what I do is I teach you guys how to connect the dots, right? And whenever you're trying to make any informed decision of which is very big related to your finances, this is how you should start thinking. Every time someone tells you, listen, you know what, see, your parents might come and tell you, you know, we're planning to buy a house, this and that. So ask them how much is the down payment, how much is the loan amount. Just open up a calculator, do this calculation for them, and tell them you'll be paying approximately 30% more, you'll be paying around this much in tax. Is it required, not required? Right? Think about it. Yeah. So that is what, guys. So it's all about how you deal with numbers, how you understand numbers, and how you deal with numbers. So depending on that, you should take an informed decision and an informed call. Also, Richard Branson, did you guys see, went up to space today? And apparently, The Simpsons had predicted this also before. Simpsons just blows my mind. I don't know how they do all these things. Someone's asking how old I am. Why, dude? Why you want to know my age? I am as young as an 18-year-old, but compounding at the age of 29. Sadly. Sadly, very sadly. Don't worry, guys, I'm too old for you guys. My prime time is over. Yeah. Okay, guys, that's it for my session because I have another call now in like 20 minutes. But did you guys learn something today? Did you guys understand? Did you guys learn something today? Where to get that 80% down payment from? That is what you save, guys. So someone asked me where to get 80% down payment. Don't buy the house until you get the 80, you have enough money for 80% down payment. Right? 80, 75 depends. Okay, whatever it is. It should not be 20, 80. It should be 75, 25. Do ulta. Just ensure that your down payment is more. That too, if you absolutely require it. See, for example, another problem is if I want to buy a 1 crore house, and according to my logic, you'll be like, Shashank, 75% down payment, matlab 75 lakhs. I've saved 75 lakhs, now I'll go buy a house. That is not how it works. First save 2 3 crores, then go buy a house for 1 crore, because you can't put all your money and say, you know what, I'm buying a house. Tomorrow something wrong happens to you, some big emergency happens to you and you don't have money, what you'll do, right? Bro, what do you drive? Curious. I have a car, Audi A4 R8. It seems R8 is my dream car, but I don't have it yet because it's too expensive for life. So I have an A4. Got it? Awesome. Chalo. See you guys. Have you guys checked CD? It's a little late, bro, to the party. Okay. Chalo. See you guys. Bye bye.